Today's lesson is on SMART goals. We certainly all have ambitions or things we want to accomplish, and we often spend energy and time trying to make some progress toward what we want to accomplish. But usually, most cases, we simply end up putting effort into a direction, but it's very chaotic and we don't actually get consistent outcomes. So we're going to talk again about something called SMART goals. This is an acronym. And this helps us to create parameters for our goals to ensure they are more effective. So the acronym particularly stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. The specific part of the SMART acronym states that goals must be clear and specific so that we know what we're trying to actually accomplish and also when we have accomplished that objective. So we need to know when we have arrived at our outcome. So that is specific. Next, a goal needs to be measurable. So progress towards our goal must be able to be tracked and evaluated. That way we can make adjustments if we find that we're not moving in the right direction or making adequate progress. Also, the A stands for achievable. Goals must be realistic, and this is basically in relation to what we're capable of doing, as well as what resources that we might have available to pursue this goal with. So is it achievable? Can we actually accomplish this, or are we just making up something for fun, saying that we have intentions? So the goals must be achievable. Next, it needs to be relevant. Goals should be intrinsically aligned with our values and priorities. So it needs to be something that we actually prioritize. Otherwise, we will very, very likely disengage from the pursuit, even if we've started it. And finally, the T stands for time-bound. So goals need to have a clear deadline for completion. This allows us to, again, measure and monitor our progress, as well as have some accountability to actually making progress towards our goals. But when we use SMART goals, we establish these parameters in relation to our goals, and this ensures that our objectives are, again, achievable within a specific time frame. This eliminates vagueness and guesswork while also establishing a clear timeline, and it also helps facilitate progress tracking while identifying any missed milestones along the way. On this particular slide, we're going to be discussing goal-congruent behavior. With that in mind, it's important to understand that with this Effortless Success program, we are not trying to just pursue goals or write goals so that we can say that we did. We are actually fully committed to using habitual behavior that we have established to effortlessly arrive at the outcomes that we want to accomplish. So with that in mind, we can utilize goal-congruent habitual behavior that is in alignment with our SMART goal criteria that we have defined for our particular goals. And this helps us to ensure that our actions are in harmony with the actual effort that's required to reach our goal. And this alignment enhances the likelihood of success by focusing all of our efforts and energy on relevant tasks that actually matter and operate within a set time frame to accomplish the goals that we're wanting to achieve. So in essence, the SMART goal criteria and the SMART goal process and acronym, these help us to be consistent with both our criteria, so we know what exactly we're trying to achieve with the goal, while also helping to ensure that we're effective with all of those small behavioral steps that must be taken in order to attain our goals successfully. So again, just remember, as always, any outcome is the sum of a lot of little steps, and we may want a certain outcome immediately. I think that's a normal desire, but we all are aware that there needs to be small steps. And I think the problem is, although that doesn't surprise people, the problem or the thing that does surprise people is that they feel like they have taken a lot of small steps, or they've put a lot of energy, or at least a lot of desire into achieving something, yet they're not getting the outcome that they're wanting. And the problem is they've done a lot of pseudo work. So they've put effort toward the goal, but it wasn't goal congruent. It was just perhaps self-discipline, inconsistent willpower, and so forth. So it felt extremely effortful, but it wasn't consistent. And so by aligning our habitual goal congruent behavior with clearly defined a clearly defined SMART goal, then we can achieve the outcome a lot more efficiently. Now that we have our clear and concise goals, thanks to our SMART acronym, and we are able to pinpoint what exact behaviors that we need in order to achieve our goals, the next thing we need to consider is behavioral cues. Now, cues play a very important role in attaining long-term outcomes by assisting us with forming these automatic habitual behaviors. So the behaviors will be triggered by specific environmental cues. We have to define these. If we're making them purposefully, we have to define them. If we're just creating habits, bad habits accidentally, the cues will be triggered themselves. So there'd be some event. For instance, it's nighttime, you're about to go to bed, you brush your teeth. So that's the cue. If you're watching television and you're just sitting still and you get hungry, you snack. And that's an example of a bad habit. But that would be a cue that when you're watching television, you eat potato chips or you eat popcorn or snacks or something like that. So that would be the cue. But we can also do these purposefully, and we can create a cue that helps us establish a goal congruent behavior. And by providing specific signals and triggers that guide us toward these actions, we can be consistent with this goal congruent behavior or new goal congruent behaviors. When we align our SMART goals with our motivation, so what's important to us, and we prioritize our goals, and then we create cues, these form supporting habits that help us get to the goals that are most important to us. And this allows us to increase the likelihood of achieving these desired long-term outcomes. And if we do them long enough and efficiently enough and consistently enough, then the behaviors become more and more habitual, and we're getting to the point where we could call them almost effortless. So now that we have discussed what a SMART goal is, and we've discussed goal congruent behavior, and we've discussed behavioral cues or triggers that initiate those behaviors, the last thing we need to discuss in this lesson is goal structure and environment. So a goal structure is basically designing the plan or the journey that you're going to take to accomplish your SMART goal. So by taking time up front with your goal structure can be critical for addressing environmental factors that could impact your goal pursuit. Now, keep in mind that this does not have to be complicated. It's just a small additional step. It's very important to proactively approach or address any obstacles that you're going to face. And this could be obstacles, could be perhaps environmental conditions or triggers that you're going to face that might have negative implications that might lead you to go in the wrong direction on your actions or efforts. It also might even lead to goal disengagement. So by recognizing certain aspects or obstacles or environmental aspects that you have to remove or deal with ahead of time will assist in your actual goal pursuit of what you're trying to accomplish. So in essence, aligning your goal environment with your SMART goal enhances your motivation. It provides resources that you might need to accomplish your goal. It helps reduce barriers that you're going to face. And you can also use this time to integrate or decide on cues that you're going to utilize to initiate important behaviors. And it's going to foster an atmosphere that's conducive to successfully attaining your goal. So some benefits to designing our goal structure and preparing our environment include such things as creating a supportive environment. So, a supportive environment basically reduces obstacles and resistance. It facilitates a smoother goal achievement. So there's going to be some resistance. If we're trying to obtain something that's important to us, there's going to be a lot of steps, and they're not all going to be downhill. Some of them are going to be uphill. But for instance, if we have our workout clothes laid out, we've already decided the night before what we're going to wear. We know what the weather is going to be like. It's going to be cold or hot, so we've got that figured out. We know what time we have selected, or we're going to be working out at a certain specific time. We know what workout we're going to be doing. So basically, we've removed things that we were going to have to deal with, and we've already dealt with them, and that's going to create a supportive environment for us to pursue our goal in. Next, we can create basically an encouraging environment. So we'll have a perception of encouragement and support within our surroundings, and this will help boost our motivation. It will increase our likelihood of persisting in the pursuit of our SMART goals because we're going to have a positive mindset. Now, I'd like to just remind us that we're probably going to need to, maybe not have to, but need to pat ourselves on the back rather than expect someone else to be encouraging us. It's always nice to have encouragement from others, but that's fine. It's unlikely. Your goals need to be what is important to you, and you need to have a very high priority on those goals yourself. So encourage yourself and look for ways to celebrate and be excited about small wins, anything that you've achieved. And it might be that you learned a lesson. So no matter what, find a way to be positive, whether it be a little bit of progress towards a milestone. So if we're trying to lose weight, we lost a pound or two, that's fantastic. It doesn't have to be that we lost 30 pounds in a week. It could be simply we are heading in the right direction. That's fantastic. If we make a mistake, so something didn't work out, we missed a workout, rather than just giving up and beating ourselves up about it, be excited about you learned some environmental aspect or some trigger or some obstacle that we're going to be facing. And so now we know that we have to deal with that thing. And that's going to, over time, create a better environment for us to be successful with. And then finally, it can help us to address potential barriers that we're going to face. So identifying and addressing potential environmental barriers minimizes the challenges we're going to see in the future. So even if we face a barrier, so we've planned for it, we've removed it, or we were surprised by it and we faced it. Either way, in the future, we are going to be mitigating or minimizing these barriers as we continue forward. And this is going to simplify our journey as we continually progress towards our goal. This is not a short journey. This is a long-term journey. And not only is it a long-term journey, it's going to be a consistent journey forevermore. So once we establish the habitual behavior, we're not relying on willpower. This isn't something we're going to do for a short amount of time. It's going to be a new behavior that we continue for basically forever. And so some examples of addressing these potential barriers might be removing junk food from your work area. So you snack in your work area, get the junk out of there. Replace those with some healthy eating options and something with lower calories. So if you know you're going to snack, at least put something good there. Or maybe you have an implementation intention. If you get hungry at your workstation, you drink water first. And then if you're still hungry, you eat fruit. And you don't penalize yourself for that. You can have all the fruit and all the water you want. So those are ways to address potential barriers as we continue toward. As we wrap up today's lesson on SMART goals, I would like us to consider 3 takeaways. First, SMART goals help us to eliminate the vagueness that our typical goal intentions might have. So obviously, if we have subjective goals that we're trying to pursue, those are hard to measure. So by using SMART goals, we're able to have objective, measurable milestones that we can plan for and track. Secondly, consistent behaviors that align with our SMART goals, that would be goal congruent behavior. They help result in the desired outcomes that we're hoping to achieve. And then finally, by strategically preparing the environment in which we know we're going to operate in, will help us to remove resistance or barriers that we know we're going to face, help us to prepare resources that we're going to need, and it just basically sets up the environment to help the goal journey be very likely to be successful. Now, we are going to have adjustments, we're going to make mistakes, but by using this process, we can be very, very, very confident that we are going to achieve the outcome that we desire. And moreover, once we get there, we're going to have developed habitual behavior, so consistent small steps that we take every day, regardless of our level of willpower. And therefore, we're going to be able to maintain that outcome once we achieve it. So it's not like we're going to work really, really hard to achieve a goal, arrive at that goal, and then revert right back to our old behavior, because we are going to replace our bad habits, our old habits, with these new habits that take us to the outcomes that we've been wanting to achieve. So, all right, for this week's action items, I need you to develop a SMART goal for an area in your life that you are highly motivated to achieve success in. So take a look. What is that one goal that's very important to you? Make sure that it's a SMART goal. And from there, once you have gotten all the criteria of a SMART goal for that particular area in your life, next week we will look specifically at developing cues and triggers to begin creating goal congruent behavior that will take you to that outcome. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. And remember, we're going to forge your future one habit at a time. So stay excited and keep getting